Please remain standing for the national anthem, sung by Chloe and Kira Anderson. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Wow, that was amazing. You may be seated. Good afternoon. Thank you. I am Dr. Diane Lynch. I'm the president of Stevens College. And on behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the administration, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our 2022 undergraduate winter commencement. That's an applause line. Yeah. It's a big moment. Let's start by thanking those who made this event possible, our accomplished and dedicated faculty, and especially Dr. James Terry, Associate Professor, School of Integrative Studies and Faculty Chair, who is serving as our head marshal and is truly wearing the best hat today of anyone. In your honor, Jim. Our remarkable and committed staff, including the entire commencement committee, and especially Lita Pistono, Executive Assistant in the President's Office, and the woman in charge of these proceedings. Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Leslie Willey, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, to the podium.
It is fitting that we honor our distinguished faculty today. The Stevens College faculty has an immense impact on the lives of students, as professors, as mentors, as advisors, and as friends. They ask for the best from each student, and they give their best. They are passionate about teaching, generous with their time and talents, thoughtful, concerned, and inspirational. Each of our faculty has made significant contributions to the college, to their profession, and to the thousands of students they have taught over the years. Would all of the faculty of Stevens College please stand and be recognized? Every year, students get to nominate faculty to receive two of the most esteemed awards, the Distinguished Teaching Award and the Michael Bowling Distinguished Advising Award. This is an opportunity for students to express their appreciation and acknowledgement of the work of our faculty. And I can assure you that this is one of the greatest honors a faculty member can ever receive. I would like to recognize the recipient of the Distinguished Teaching Award, Kirsty Buchanan, Professor of Fashion in School of Integrative Studies. Please join me in congratulating Kirsty. I would also like to recognize the recipient of the 2022 Michael Bowling Distinguished Advising Award, Dr. Bethany Irons, Assistant Professor and Program Chair, Communication Design in the School of Integrative Studies. Please join me in congratulating Bethany. Bethany, please stand. Finally, I would like to recognize the contributions of our academic leadership team. Dr. Dan Kissinger, Interim Dean of the School of Health Sciences, Dr. Kate Bernaking-Kogut, Dean of the School of Integrative Studies, Jennifer Hemphill, Dean of the Conservatory for the Performing Arts. These academic leaders provide vision, direction, and support to the faculty and students at Stevens. Would the members of the academic leadership team please stand to be recognized? It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker this afternoon, Kirsty Buchanan, recipient of the 2022 Distinguished Teaching Award. Kirsty Buchanan, a Stevens alumni, has taught in our fashion department for over 20 years. She has broad fashion industry experience in New York, Chicago, and Dallas, and is an award-winning designer. Kirsty's design practice aims to fuse beautiful product design with meaning. She has designed costumes for the Okoboji Summer Theater and Dance Company productions in Dallas and has inspired countless fashion students to follow their dreams and ambitions into successful careers in the fashion industry. Please join me in welcoming Kirsty to the podium.
Hello, graduates. How many of you are that person who is always leaping at new opportunities? The first person to try anything new? No hands. I knew it, yes. Or are you the person who loves safety and stability and maybe is just a little scared of heights? Or are you somewhere in between? Yeah, me too. Thank you, Stevens administrators and staff, my faculty colleagues, families and friends, and you, the December 2022 graduates of Stevens College. Yay. I'm so honored to share some words with you today on behalf of your faculty. We are here to celebrate the end of one chapter in your lives and the beginning of another. Now, I know that graduation speeches are often filled with platitudes and cliches, and this one is no exception. Many of you may be thinking, oh no, not another boring speech about how bright our future is and how we can achieve anything we set our minds to. Fear not, because I am not here to bore you with those tired old tropes. No, I'm here to speak to you about something far more terrifying and exciting, the unknown. I'm sure you're already sick of people asking you what you'll do next, right? When the truth is you may not know exactly what it is, beyond sleeping a lot and recovering from your finals. That's okay. I want to encourage you to embrace that uncertainty and take action, because that's where growth and opportunity lies. I'm sure you're Besides being one of your professors, as you heard, I'm also a Stevens alumna, right? And I was a fashion major, and you also heard this. My post-college journey took me to New York, to Chicago, to Dallas, and then back here to Columbia. Crafting this speech was a great excuse for me to revisit my Stevens-infused story, which you'll hear a lot about Stevens in this speech, and to think of all the things that absolutely did not go as expected. Yet those unexpected twists ended up leading me into some great adventures. I'm sharing 5 chapters of that story with you today in the hopes that it will inspire you to become more comfortable with discomfort and dive into the unknown. Chapter 1, Reward Requires Risk. When I left my hometown, population 2,000, Columbia seemed like a huge city to me. But I was excited to be stepping into a safe version of the unknown. That move set off a chain of events that led me to many amazing places. 4 years later, when I graduated and moved to New York, this is what I took with me: 1 suitcase, a portfolio, and a typewriter for writing resumes and typing cover letters. I was terrified but also exhilarated as I took the leap. And I'm telling you, you should do the same. Your life's journey will hold more twists and turns than you can possibly anticipate. A confluence of serendipity and weird coincidences lurk ahead for you if you just put yourself out there. So grab your typewriter and just go. Chapter 2, the shoes. Sometimes a lifelong friendship can start in the most unlikely way. I started connecting with my friend Carrie when we both happened to be wearing the same shoes during a desk hostess meeting in Wood Hall. Despite being fairly different in most ways, we bonded over our shared sense of humor and became fast friends. Fast forward a few years, and I was living in Chicago. With too little vacation time to travel home for Thanksgiving, I decided to invite my orphan friends over for one of those Friendsgiving things, and Carrie happened to be in town. We had so much fun celebrating Thanksgiving together that we decided to do it again the following year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and we've done it ever since. For decades, we kept doing it. Families, friends, significant others have just had to adapt. They're always invited. This is a friendship that has supported me through years of change and uncertainty, and it's a reminder that your Stevens network is there with you for life. This support includes not only your current friends, but also your faculty and people who are just acquaintances now. Chapter 3, the world is big and also small. Stevens connections will pop up in the most unlikely places. What a surprise it was to run into Lisa, a fashion classmate, in the Martha Washington Hotel for Women in New York, where we were both living as broke job seekers. I had no clue she was even in town, right? I thought that graduation would be the last time I'd see her. We quickly decided to move into an apartment together with a few friends. This situation did not last long, but what a comfort it was to have someone I actually knew in that huge city. I also ended up getting chosen out of hundreds of people to be on the same jury for a capital murder trial in Dallas as Lori, a friend from freshman year in Searcy. That was weird. But that's a tale for another time. I have many examples of strange coincidences like this. It's amazing how small the world can feel when you run into someone you know in a place you never would have expected. This is another reminder of the power of your Stevens network and how it can support you in unexpected ways. Chapter 4, you never know. Your path is not necessarily defined by your major or by your first job. Many of you have found your passions here at Stevens, but be aware that things rarely turn out as expected. What you do next is just the first step, and your path may diverge. This is what will make your life interesting. Never in a million years did I imagine I would be a professor. I thought I would be a fashion designer in New York in a glamorous job in a glamorous high-rise apartment, But after years working in the fashion industry, I was catching up with one of my fashion professors. When she told me there was a teaching position open at Stevens, it was like a lightning bolt. Was this something I was supposed to do? I took the leap, and coming back to Columbia felt like coming home. Who would have thought that my professor would hire me and become a colleague and a friend? Or that I would work with other classmates, now friends, Dr. McMurray and Dr. Willie up here. I guess career changes run in my family. My brothers have gone from being a trout farmer to an airline pilot. And the other one went from a radio producer to a doctor. I have Stevens friends who have made the switch from fashion designer to minister, from actor to judge, and from theater manager to bookseller. Look around at your fellow graduates. What futures do you imagine for them? Chapter 5, plan ahead, then just leap. So how do you deal with the anxiety and downright fear of the unknown? For me, it definitely doesn't help to worry. I was laid off from one of my very first jobs when the entire company closed. Had I known I would live through it and find something better in only 2 weeks, I would have done a whole lot less worrying. While you can't always control what happens to you, you can control how you react to challenges. Instead of letting anxiety control you, try using preparation and planning to calm your fears, and then get ready to throw the plans out the window if an unexpected opportunity comes along. Your education here has made you far more adaptable than you know and has prepared you to cope with a wide variety of circumstances. So trust yourself, keep learning, be prepared, and then just leap. Congratulations on starting a new chapter. Thank you, graduates, from your faculty for working so hard, for your humor and your stories, and for the impact you have made on our lives. Keep being brave and curious. Please stay in touch with each other and with us, and be on the lookout for Stevens friends everywhere. And welcome to the wonderful world of Stevens alumni. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty. Our class speaker, representing our December graduates, Kaylee Lee Lawson, is graduating with a BFA in digital filmmaking from Stevens College. They entered Stevens College in 2019 as a strategic communications integrated marketing major, but switched over in the second semester of their sophomore year. Since then, every day, they're either doing something creative or making plans for their next project. Lee spent her first 3 years at Stevens on the volleyball team, then transitioned into a manager position in the 2022 season. She recently concluded her time at Stevens with the Stevens Senior Film Showcase, where she screened her original musical short film, Ambivalence. Before I invite Lee to the stage, I would ask that her family please stand and be recognized. Lee, it's my honor to welcome you to the stage.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Kaylee Lawson, but some of you here know me by a different name. It's a name that I found here at Stevens. It's a name that fits the person Stevens has allowed me to grow into, and it's a name I'm proud of. It's also the name blinking on top of my cap. I enrolled here in 2019, and anyone who knows me can attest that I have changed a lot. And no, I'm not just talking about my hair, Mom. I graduated high school in a small town in Arkansas, so going to Stevens meant being 6 hours away from the nearest family member, and all my free time would be taken up by Stevens volleyball. It was quite the first year. I remember feeling overwhelmed and really homesick, which I think most of us here can relate to some extent. Of course, my friends and my teammates were always there for me, but the feeling that I wasn't cut out for this was like always there. There was this constant fear that people were waiting for me to fail and quit. And just as I started to consider those thoughts to be true, I decided to have a little fun with my volleyball team and record a little video. And that video is not very good, but it did get me in contact with my former professor, Chase Thompson. He brought me down to the film studios during his photography class, and he let me participate. And that day quite literally changed my life. Up until that point, I was completely content with graduating from Stevens with a degree in marketing, which is a great degree. It's just not mine, you know? And the way he and the entire program was so willing to bring me in and encourage my creativity must have jump-started something dormant in my brain, because I never looked back. I switched my major in the second semester of my sophomore year, and my only regret is not doing it sooner. Soon after my transition, I created my first short film. Again, it's not my best work, but the feeling of creating something like that was exactly what I needed to know that I was headed in the right direction now. At this point, I was starting to feel untouchable, if I'm being honest. And that's when the beloved 10 popped in and put my name among the few recognized for belief. For those unfamiliar, the 10 ideals are respect, courage, independence, support, sensitivity, responsibility, belief, creativity, and intelligence and leadership. These are the qualities Stevens strives to instill in each student here so that they may go out into the world as confident and powerful individuals. Each year, the school secretly selects 10 seniors who will each represent one of the ideals, who then nominate and recognize underclassmen and faculty throughout the year for them. I was lucky enough to be recognized for belief, and it was one of the first times I had ever seen my new name used by anyone besides myself and my close friends. I would be lying if I said I hadn't gotten a little emotional upon seeing it. As much as I love my given name, there was something special about seeing this name I chose for myself in actual writing that made me really happy. Every time I started to falter and hit a low point, someone at Stevens was right there to hold my arm and keep me steady until I got my feet back underneath me. There's a powerful community here where people care about one another and want to see them succeed. This past year was definitely my hardest and also had the most breakdowns. I spent this entire year creating a musical short film from the ground up with next to no experience with musicals and limited with creating short films. You could say it was a little ambitious, but somehow it got done, and I'm incredibly proud of what my team and I were able to create. Now, for those who don't know what creating an indie film is like, let me paint a picture for you. You will not have any money, except for a very short period when the gracious donations from your friends and family come in, which you will immediately spend on paying people and buying food so that nobody starves while creating the movie you want to make. You will love your concept and feel inspired until things start to go wrong, and trust me, they will, and then you will absolutely despise your project. I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to give up on my musical before the final draft of the script was even written. Then you'll get to filming, and while that is arguably the most fun, it's also the most agonizing part of the entire process. There will be people running around all the time with problems, trying to figure out what they need to do to make this film. People get stressed, people cry, people get frustrated, and people make mistakes. People. It's the most intense part of filmmaking, but the fun thing about it is how each person is also able to get that perfect shot, or give a flawless performance, or simply be positive and raise morale. These are the people that Stevens is creating. These are the people I'm proud to be around, proud to know, and proud to be. I know they will go on to do great things, just like I believe I will. Now I stand here before you all today not only as Kaylee, but as Lee Lawson. Lee is a confident person with a beautiful mind. Lee is someone I've always yearned to become. Lee is exactly who freshman Kaylee would have idolized. And Lee is someone who can actually say nice things about themselves. So let me take this chance to thank Stevens as a whole, the faculty, and my friends within it. Thank you for giving me the space and encouragement I needed to grow. Thank you for supporting me throughout my journey. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity and teaching me how to explore myself and who I wanted to be. And thank you to my family, who supported me in every way they could throughout my time here. I wouldn't be at Stevens without them, much less the person Stevens helped me become. Stevens, you've got my heart. I'm incredibly proud of everyone here and all future graduates to come. You've made a great accomplishment today, and all the hard work, late nights, early mornings, and study time has paid off. Today marks the end of an era for us. Whether you are continuing your education or just starting your career, we are now college graduates. There's a big world out there, and it needs your leadership, your creativity, and your passion. Each one of you here are going to do big things, and I can't wait to be able to say, I went to Stevens with them. As a final note, I would like you to all do me a favor, and I mean all of you, not just my fellow graduates. The most valuable lesson I learned here at Stevens is that you cannot let work and studies overtake your life. Yes, those things are important, but there is so much more to each day. The only time I spent alone this week was when I was studying for my finals. Every other second, I tried to be with someone I cared about. My time at Stevens really was a bleak and you'll miss it kind of thing. During my time here, I gained friends and family who I can't imagine life without now, but I lost people as well. Just this year, my great-grandmother, Martha, passed away, but I carry her with me today with the necklace around my neck and the coin in my pocket. I know she's watching over me, and I know she's proud. All of you should hold your heads high and be proud of yourselves. Congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. Now for the reason we're all here. Ready? As Vice President for Academic Affairs, it is my pleasure to present these candidates for degrees. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree please stand and be recognized? Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree please stand and be recognized? Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree please stand and be recognized? Associate Professor Nolly Moore will announce each candidate who crosses the stage to receive a diploma. Students graduating with honors are wearing a medallion symbolizing their achievement. Before we begin the presentation of diplomas, I ask that all candidates for degrees please stand as President Lynch confers your individual degrees. President Lynch, on behalf of the faculty, I present these candidates for conferring of degrees.
Okay. So I think you've heard this from our speakers today, but you're going to hear it very briefly from me as well. This is the moment. You have worked so hard. There's been times, I know some of you weren't sure you were going to make it. But you did, with each other and with the help of your faculty and with the grit and the resilience that is part of you now. This is a moment, and I want you to not miss it. We rush through our lives, and the next thing you know, moments are by and they've passed. So I want you to stop and just think about where you've been and how you got here. Because it's been a journey for each of you, together but individually. Okay, here we go. By the authority of the state of Missouri, given to me by the trustees of Stevens College, and entrusted to me by them, I hereby award to you, upon recommendation of the faculty, the degrees that you have earned during the course of your studies at Stevens College, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining, in token whereof we shall present you with your diplomas. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left. Please join me in congratulating the Winter Commencement class. Okay, well, you got a good crowd here. This is a good house. Okay, everybody, please be seated. Okay. Dr. Irons will lead you to the stage.
Kaylee Elizabeth Lawson, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking, Stevens Scholar. Grace Bailey, Bachelor of Science in Strategic Communication Design, minor Small Business Management and Ownership, magna cum laude. Deja Renee Batiste, Bachelor of Arts in Apparel Studies. Jaden Brooke Colvin, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Communication Design, Stevens Scholar. Armella Renee Cox, Bachelor of Arts in Apparel Studies, minor in Creative Writing. Devin Brooke Dowell, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor in Chemistry, minor in Equestrian Studies, summa cum laude. Lennox Jean Emery, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Technical Theater and Stage Management, Stevens Scholar. Kimbriana Tashay Evans, Bachelor of Science in Education. Julia Lynn Gundecker, Bachelor of Science in Education, summa cum laude. Toriona Renata Harvey, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design and Product Development. Divya Mary Hopkins, Bachelor of Science in Fashion Marketing and Management. Adriana Nicole Jones, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, Stevens Scholar. Mary Adele Leibovich, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, summa cum laude. Komachi Miyazaki, Bachelor of Science in Communication Design, summa cum laude. Caitlin Deanna Smith, Bachelor of Arts in English, minor in Education. Cameron Gwendolyn Marie Sullivan, Bachelor of Science in Health Science. Olivia Ariana Williams, Bachelor of Science in Health Science. Susan Marie Borden, Bachelor of Science in Health Information Administration with honors.
Okay, well, this is a good crowd. But I'm going to let you do it one more time. Give it up for absolutely for the winter commencement class of 2022. Now I know where our students get it. Well, I always love to say we are loud and proud, and you just proved me right. Okay, now you have to be quiet. Because I'm going to talk to them, and you have to be quiet and just listen. So, It's not my last chance to talk with you, because there will be, I hope, moments when you think, I need fill in the blank. Money, a connection, a job, a place to sleep, friends in New York City. And you're going to run through all of your resource lists. And I hope that you're going to think that I wonder if Diane could help. And then you're going to call me and I will help. So this is just me saying a few things today, but I trust and hope that I will have opportunities to talk with you. I bet you like in a couple of months, when you're sort of settled in, and even if you have jobs, which I hope you do, just to touch base and say hello. Make sure you're okay. Make sure I can help. Let me help if I can. But today I get to talk to you as something we call a charge, which has nothing to do with tuition. And people are like, ha ha ha. So here we are. And today is about you. And I have to say, I don't remember hearing anybody capture the essence of what it means to be at Stevens and of Stevens and about Stevens the way Lee just did. It was beautiful. I've heard a lot of those speeches, and it was such a beautiful capture. Thank you. Today is the culmination of all you have achieved to this point in your life. It's that crossing of the bridge from one era of your life into the next. You're going to hear a lot of common themes from what you've already heard today, because great minds think alike. These are a few brief moments of ritual that transforms you from the person you've been into the person you have become. Rituals matter. They matter. They mark the moments in our lives during which we become who we are becoming. Baptisms, weddings, funerals. We remember them and we map our memories to them. They are the narratives, the touchstones of the narratives of our lives. They remind us and those around us that we are moving forward on the paths that we've chosen. This is one of the most important rituals of your life so far. You've come into this building a college student, and you will leave it a college graduate. That kind of transformation doesn't happen very often. Something so clear and specific. On and off, yes and no, student and graduate. I hope you let yourself be completely absorbed in the joy in this room. There's a lot of joy in this room. And somebody back there said, yes, yes. I hope you are absorbed by the memories swirling in your head and the love you feel for the lifelong best friends and the loving family members surrounding you today. I hope you don't miss the moment, as I said. It is my responsibility to charge you with where you should go next, how you should be the change you want to see in the world. Here's the thing, you should be the change you want to see in the world. Let's just put that to rest, you should. But I'm not exactly sort of the laying on of obligation kind of person. I tend to be more of somebody who's like coaching and suggesting and, gee, maybe I have a good idea and how can I help you kind of person. So instead of a charge telling you what you're obligated to do, I'm going to tell you what I hope for you. I'm going to tell you what I hope you will do and how the kinds of person I hope you will become. You've heard me say this before, and in some ways it's some of the things that Kirsty said, but I hope you say yes first. I hope you say yes first to the things that present themselves in your life and work your way back to no one step at a time. We have a tendency to say no, like, oh, I couldn't possibly, oh, yeah. No. Make yourself say yes first. You can always turn around and get to no, which I'll talk about in a minute. Your life will be so much more interesting and exciting and rewarding if you actually let yourself be open to the possibilities that present themselves to you, because they will. And so often, because we say no, we miss them. Say yes first, work yourself back to no, one step at a time. And I hope you decide, instead of letting your life happen to you, own it and create it. And here's something you need to remember. You can decide, and then you can decide again. You can decide to move to New York City, and you could decide you hate New York City and move to Toledo, and you can decide you hate Toledo and move back to Columbia, and we will be right here. You can make the choices of your life one at a time, and then you can decide again. Sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do, because when we don't know where the road is headed, sometimes it just feels safer to stay right where we are, right? What matters is that you say yes first, you decide, you take the chance, knowing you can always decide again. I promise you, no one yet has made the last decision in your life. None of you have made the last choice you're going to make, and the next 25 choices, they're not going to be the last ones either. We create our lives one decision at a time. And I have a graph or a slide when I talk about my career. The most interesting people do not live their lives in straight lines. My path in my career and how I got here looks like this. And then I got to Stevens and I was like, yay! I would never have found Stevens if I hadn't said yes first and knew that I could decide and then decide again. I want you to continue to read. I want you to continue to read. You can't be an educated person who doesn't read. That's an oxymoron, and if you read, you know what that means. Go to the library, get yourself a Kindle, pick up books on subjects you never heard of, didn't even know you cared about. Because language widens our horizons and deepens our sense of the world. If you decided you were going to read a book a week, even a short one, instead of, guess what, being on your phone, just think how more interesting you'd be in a year. And what you also realize is that really nobody had much to say on those texts. Listen, nobody ever learns anything new while they're talking. Throw yourself completely into everything you do. And you know what? I hope you succeed, but if you don't, I hope you fail spectacularly. I hope it's just a blowout failure, because that means you have done something, tried to do something harder and bigger and more difficult and more challenging. And no matter what happens, you will be better because that's what you did. I hope you see the invisible ones. You are among the most privileged people on the planet. You are now one of about 35% of Americans who hold a bachelor's degree. I hope you stop on the street long enough to dig into your wallet and give that homeless person that $5. And I know you don't carry cash, but let's just, the thought that you were going to spend at Starbucks. And I hope you look at that person as you give him that gift. I hope you smile at him and wish him a good day. Because each of us, no matter how humble or destitute or troubled, has the birthright of human dignity, and that includes the right to be seen. I hope you are one of Steve Jobs' crazy ones. Steve Jobs invented Apple. I can't believe I have to say that to you, but who knows? It's a generational thing. I hope you are one of those who push the human race forward and are crazy enough to think that you can change the world. I hope you are one of Martin Luther King's dreamers, one of Rosie the Riveter's doers, one of Eleanor Roosevelt's fearless, and one of Mother Teresa's servant leaders. And finally, I hope you take from Stevens what one of our alumni discovered during her time here. I've been here 14 years, long time. This is like my 52nd commencement. It's the best one so far. It's the loudest. She wrote this as a letter to the new president the year I arrived, left it on my desk. And I keep it to remind me of Stevens at its best, the Stevens Lee described. Some of you have heard me quote it before. And I want it to be one of the last things you hear from me here. Here's what she said. It's difficult to put into words the essence of Stevens College. Stevens is a magical place where strong, independent women come to learn from each other's strengths. Stevens students are an enormous part of what makes Stevens great. We are strong, independent, ambitious, hardworking, and courageous. We have a variety of talents, backgrounds, and interests. The fact that we are different is irrelevant. We put our differences aside in order to succeed. I am a living example of the power of Stevens to transform. Stevens provided me the direction and support that I desperately needed when I had little else. It has been the birthplace of my creativity. I have found a deep sense of direction and purpose, and for the first time in my life, I know who I am and where I am going. Stevens is a place where dreams come true. It has awakened in me in dreams that I didn't even know I had and made them a reality. Here's the line. We are small in number, but we have an enormous, unconquerable spirit. Perhaps most of all, Stevens graduating class, I hope you remember always that you take with you on every great adventure, because you're going to say yes to adventures, of your amazing and well-blessed lives, an enormous and unconquerable spirit. I hope you stay in touch. I hope you remember that we are here for you. I actually hate commencement, to be perfectly honest, because you're here and I know you all and we get to know you and you're so important in our lives, and then you go away. But you know what? It's what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't mean you can't come back and visit. I will miss you all. Please join us in singing the Stevens hymn, led by Chloe and Kira Anderson. Audience, I ask you to stay in your seats while the graduates process out. Oh, wait. It's okay, you can come up here. Okay, I forgot. You have to sing. You have to sing. The words of the hymn are on the back of your program. You need to sing this. If you don't sing, I'll watch. I'll know, okay? And don't just think moving your lips is going to make a difference. I know. This is, right? This is the last time I get to say that you have to do this. So please, stand up and sing your hearts out. The Stevens hymn, yeah, and one of them says, we got to stand up? Yes, you have to stand up. We're going to sing the Stevens hymn. Thank you.